The third episode of The Last of Us expands on a theme first established in the first game by describing how the Cordyceps infection spread over the globe. The primary differences between The Last of Us episodes 1 and 2 and the game originate from HBO's portrayal of the Cordyceps infection that wiped out humanity. The illness was linked to global warming in The Last of Us episode 1's opening sequence, which featured John Hannah in a fantastic chilly opening that was absent from the game. Only the second episode of the show saw this continue. The Cordyceps infection's epicenter was relocated to Asia rather than South America in the opening sequence of The Last of Us Episode 2 in Jakarta, Indonesia, in order to better reflect the natural habitat of the fungi. While the third episode of The Last of Us is the first to not include a flashback relating to the beginning of the Cordyceps infection, the conversation between Joel and Ellie does provide some additional information that connects to both the HBO and game versions of the infection. The idea mentioned in the game is referenced by Joel's explanation of the Cordyceps outbreak in The Last of Us Episode 3. Joel connects the scenario with John Hannah's character in The Last of Us Episode 1 to how Cordyceps changed. Foods made from the diseased crops were then distributed once the Cordyceps had infected global food supplies like flour and sugar. When enough of the infection was consumed, people became infected. The infection was present in common shelf items like bread and cereal. Additionally, Joel provides some information regarding how this spread led to the epidemic day shown in The Last of Us Episode 1. As has been demonstrated thus far in The Last of Us, the infection swiftly starts to take hold once it enters a human host. As demonstrated in the opening sequence of The Last of Us Episode 1, food consumed on Thursday, September 25, or Friday, September 26, caused infected hosts to start spreading the virus on the evening of September 26. By the following Monday, according to Joel, everything had vanished, and the world had become chaotic. This explanation differs from the video game, The Last of Us, while also bearing some striking similarities. The key distinction from the infection origins of the game is that the infected crops are thought to have started in Jakarta, Indonesia. The crops were from South America, according to a newspaper that can be found at Joel's house in the first game, and they started being recalled after diseases started. The greatest Cordyceps infection changes in the episode are the change to Indonesia and the mutation caused by global warming. The inclusion of the pathogen spreading globally through food products is mostly kept the same when it comes to similarities. In the aforementioned gaming newspaper, it is revealed that infected crops were the source of the virus, which predominantly affected regions of Central and North America, but also that the fungus Cordyceps from The Last of Us was discovered on other continents. This idea remained the same despite a change of setting, as Joel reveals in The Last of Us Episode 3. It is unclear from this explanation whether it is supported by actual science. One thing that HBO's The Last of Us excels at is providing a terrifyingly realistic explanation of the Cordyceps illness. The Last of Us establishes a strong sense of plausibility for the series' events, right from the frigid starts of both episodes 1 and 2. The Last of Us Episode 3 marks the continuation of this, as the fungal illness spreading through food supplies may actually occur. This is corroborated by Professor Ratner's description of the flour and grain silo, where the illnesses started as an ideal substrate in the opening of The Last of Us Episode 2. A substrate in biology is a foundation on which particular species, like fungi, can exist.